Hey guys, welcome back. We're here for another video this week, and we are going to talk about our time in Maine and some of the things that we enjoyed there. One of the big things we wanted to do in Maine, of course, was eat lots of lobster, which
we ate a lot of.
You were pretty successful with that. I think Brennan ate lobster literally every day that we were there. I was sick of it by about the third day, and wanted something different, but he ate it every day. One thing we wanted to do was cook our own lobster. Of course, we'd never done it before, but it was about the experience. So we did go to a little lobster pound that was just over the bridge from where we were staying and bought 3 live lobsters. We looked up how to humanely kill and cook them, and it turned out pretty good. So here's some video footage of that. What's up? So we are having live, well, they're no longer live, lobster for dinner. So this is my friend. He's dead now, and we are about to boil him like a crawfish to see what we think. Take those chair down, please. So I have a dead lobster. We killed him humanely. We looked up on YouTube how to kill them humanely because it is not humane to drop them down into the hot boiling water. So we have killed him. He's dead. And I have a pot here full of Cajun seasoning. And I'm about to stick my friend down in this. And we're going to see how he comes out. It may be terrible, but worth a shot. There he goes. We'll update later. And outside, we have 2 more live lobsters that are now no longer alive. And we are going to put a little bit of Cajun seasoning on one of them and grill it. And we're going to put some, I'm mixing up some butter, some garlic, onion powder, because I don't like onions, so I just want the flavor. And a little bit of parsley and some lemon juice. So we are really excited to see how this stuff turns out. It looks so good. Alright, here's the big reveal. It started raining, so we have to come inside for this thing. But we have some garlic butter grilled, some Cajun grilled lobster tail, and a Cajun boiled lobster. And some steaks. So we'll see how this goes. The cat is in love with lobster.
Do you want to tell me lobster?
Okay.
You gotta set it on the ground. He doesn't.
You're not gonna take it?
He will eat it off the ground because it's good off the ground.
Watch him lick his lips after. Was it good, cute kitty? Was it tasty?
Casey's eyeing my steak over there.
Spoiled animals up in here. Another thing we really enjoyed in Maine was Bar Harbor, and this was more of the touristy area where there were tons of whale cruises, puffin cruises, t-shirt shops, touristy type restaurants and things like that went on down there.
It was beautiful down there. There's also a island there that you can walk across a sandbar to get to. It's called Bar Island.
I think that's what it was.
And they had a sign posted that it gave the times of when the water would rise and fall. And
well, not the times exactly, but how long
you had
to walk across to the island.
And it would also give you a water taxi price that if you get stuck on the island, it was $150 to call, and I think you had to wait like an hour to get back across, and you guys would be kind of left to your own.
And if you got stuck and you didn't have the number to call the water taxi, if you didn't have anywhere to call for help, it stated on the sign it would be 9 hours before the tide would go back down and you could walk back across to Bar Harbor. So we just found that really interesting that they had those signs posted there, and it kind of makes you wonder how many times that's happened to people, for them to have all those warnings and multiple phone numbers there for you to call.
Oh yeah.
So on this trip, we also visited our next national park. We have 3 national parks planned for our entire road trip, and this was number 2. Acadia National Park has got to be one of the most beautiful places ever. It is just stunning, just views, very well laid out park, easy to get around in. We really enjoyed it there. And one of the things we wanted to talk about was traveling with special needs or wheelchair accessibility when you're going to these national parks. So granted, this is only our 2nd national park, but we're already learning some things about how to navigate them best, how to find what we can all do together as a family that includes Rayleigh. And one of the main things that we talked about for our family in particular is knowing what our limits are. When the kids are tired, whether it's Rayleigh or whether it's Rudy or Reagan, when they're tired and they're not into it anymore, we don't force it, because we're doing something even if we're not getting to everything. We really wanted to see Thunder Hole and Sand Beach at Acadia National Park. It just didn't happen this time. We made our reservations for Cadillac Mountain. We were able to roll Rayleigh's chair all the way to the top of the summit, and you can see some video of that here. So as you can see, she really enjoyed going up to Cadillac Cadillac Mountain Summit, and we could see nothing. There was way too much fog. We were soaking wet by the time we got done.
Oh, yeah.
But we had the best time, and that's what it's all about, just making those memories and getting out there and experiencing things, even if you don't get to do everything, or even if it doesn't turn out exactly the way that you thought it would. We didn't get that magical picture of us on top of the mountain, but
Not at all.
we have the memories to last a lifetime of how much fun that was, and we can't wait to do it again, and maybe we will get a great picture next time. Another thing that we did was Jordan Pond, and there was a 1.5 mile trail around Jordan Pond. And one thing we noticed about Acadia is that the trails are not marked as wheelchair accessible the way that they were at Mammoth Cave. At Mammoth Cave, the map actually had a little disability symbol, so you knew which trails were accessible for you, and that wasn't the case at Acadia. So just a piece of advice, if you run into that, you can always ask the rangers. That's one thing we didn't do because we thought they would be marked on the map. So when we got to Jordan Pond, we found a parking spot, which is really probably the craziest part of Acadia.
Oh, yeah.
It's finding somewhere to park when you get to all these different things.
It was packed.
Yeah. But we found a place to park, and we walked to Jordan Pond, not knowing whether we'd be able to go any further than that.
I don't even think we knew where everything was, because we just knew the area that was in, and we just started walking, and we ended up at Jordan Pond.
Yeah, and so it wasn't paved all the way around, but it was pretty packed, like really light gravel. So we just started walking, and we just decided, okay, we're just going to go as far as we can go. And again, there are no markers, so I think asking the rangers is probably the best advice. You know, if you're not sure what you can do. For us, we just took off and did what we could. We got probably halfway around the trail and got to...
And then it ended up a wooden path, and I think we've got a picture of it. Laura may pop it in. But yeah, we ended up on a wooden path that was not wide enough for Riley's strollers.
And we tried it. We loaded her up there, and we were like, okay, we're going to do this.
We were about 3 inches too wide.
Yeah, it wasn't
we took her
much.
back off, and we turned around and went back.
Yep. And while we were in that area, we tried to get her out of the chair because she can walk, but she's a flight risk and a fall risk, and she moves really slow. So the chair's just easier for us. But we did get her out. We tried to see if she wanted to walk, and she was not feeling comfortable, feeling a little off balance. So we got back in the chair and turned around and went back the opposite direction. It worked out fine. I don't feel like anybody thought they missed out on anything because that was how it worked out for us.
We got some good pictures, and we got to see that area.
Yeah.
We didn't make it all the way around, but we've been there. You know, we've seen it, and we did as much as we could.
And we know it's somewhere we want to go back to. So definitely next time we'll have Thunder Hole and Sand Beach on the top of our list, and, you know, the other two things won't be as much of a priority. So another thing that we tried out a little bit this time, we didn't go through with it, was the Junior Ranger program.
They got some of the books, and
they got the
through
books. They were working through the activities, and we didn't make it back to the visitor center in time for them to finish that whole process. But we got to see a little bit about how that works and what you have to do to earn those Junior Ranger badges. And they actually give the kids a little badge. They say a little pledge about becoming Junior Rangers. So one thing I wanted to mention is that is for all ages, and we didn't know this until recently. So if you are traveling with a child with special needs, and maybe they're 15, 16 like Rayleigh is, they've got maybe a developmental delay, and they still want to do those activities, they can still do those. So don't feel like, oh, my kid's over 12, they can't, you know, do these things that they would enjoy. They absolutely can, and they have no problems with that whatsoever. This week we're in Boston. We're really southeast of Boston.
In the middle of Plymouth and Boston.
Yeah, somewhere between those two. So we do have plans to go into Boston a couple times this week. We're going to go to Plymouth Rock. We are maybe going to make it over to Cape Cod at some point this week. So we're pretty excited about that. We will be here 6 nights this time. So we're going to do as much as we can when Bernie gets off in the afternoon, see as much as we can. And we're really looking forward to it. This campground is maybe the nicest,
one of the
amenity-wise, that we've been to so far. Spent a lot of time at the pool today. Huge jumping pillow and tons of kids. Reagan is back in her element. She's made about 20 friends so far. So she's really enjoying it here.
Yep, and I think we're going to try to make it out to Salem to see some of the Hocus Pocus.
Hocus Pocus, yeah.
Yeah.
So they got the Hocus Pocus house and the Witch Museum and all those things. So we're going to try to make it over there as well. There's a lot to do, so we're kind of having to prioritize, okay, what do we really want to see?
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to we can't do everything, and that's okay. So we just prioritize what we really want to see and do while we're here.
And we're having to do most of this after I get off work. Lauren isn't comfortable yet taking the kids into a big city on her own and driving a big truck and trying to parallel park all that. It's just easier to try to navigate together, and take everybody all out at the same place at the same time.
Yep. So that's it for this week. We had a great time in Maine. Looking forward to another great week in Boston, and we'll see you guys next time.